Stranger Things Season 4, as we know, has gotten a lot darker and scarier than previous seasons. Season 4 consists of Volume 1, that premiered May 27th, and Volume 2, that premieres on July 1st and is now streaming. This season's horrifying villain sure made our blood curdle every time it appears on our screens. Today, we're rounding up Stranger Things Season 4 kill count. After years of being trapped, he returns and heads to the spooky town of Hawkins, and the myth of Victor Creel has started to become less of a myth. Chrissy finds herself seeing things that aren't there, and are experiencing paranormal activities. At first, we couldn't tell what was wrong, but the moment after the pep rally, and after her brief interaction with Max, she begins hearing distorted voices, and glimpses the feet of Vecna. She thinks she's going crazy and is out of her mind, and looks to Eddie for assistance. The visions didn't stop there. As she heads to meet up with Eddie, she sees a giant clock filled with spiders. Again at Eddie's trailer, the nightmares continues as she tries escaping her parents. He walks in to find her being possessed and now scared out of his mind. The lights started flickering, she begins to levitate, and here, he watches as her bones snapped in a horrifying way and her eyes pops out. It was not long after he found his next victim, Fred Benson. At this time, the town's still unaware of what caused Chrissy's death. As the town looks for Chrissy's killer, Nancy heads out in search of answers, as she knows it's something supernatural and it could all be connected to the Upside Down. Heading to Forest Hills, Fred, who's Nancy's assistant, starts hallucinating. Here, Vecna has entered his mind. Nancy's off investigating Wayne when Fred wanders off, following the ticking sound that led him to a coffin and surrounded by ghosts, claiming him to be a murderer. He makes it to the highway, where he hallucinates the moment of his incident and his friend crawling from the wreckage. Like Chrissy, Vecna kills him in the same horrifying way. At this time, we could confirm that Vecna targets teens, and what do they all have in common? Guilt. The Hawkins kids dives deeper into the mystery of Vecna. Max, Steve, and Dustin breaks in Mrs. Kelly's office and found Chrissy's files along with Fred's, and learned of the symptoms they've all been experiencing before being murdered by Vecna.
For Fred and Chrissy, they both died less than 24 hours after their first vision. And I just saw that goddamn clock, so looks like I'm gonna die tomorrow.
This is his signature move, making his victims vulnerable so they can be a much easier target. His next target's Max, but he soon came to learn he's not like his other victims. Patrick, along with Jason and his team, are on the hunt for Eddie. Vecna has found his next victim in a car, and like all his other victims, Patrick experiences a slight nosebleed. At Chrissy's funeral, he gets a vision of the clock. Jason and Patrick have found Eddie when Vecna attacks him, sending him flying from the lake, and like all his other victims, his bones snapped and eyes gouged out. Later, both Max and Nancy discovers the body of his victims on display in the Upside Down. The massacre at Hawkins' lab. In the 7th episode of this season, Elle's trying to get her powers to work, and reliving her memories trying to find answers. Ballard tells her the truth about the facility, but fails to mention the truth about himself before she helped him. He reveals himself to be one, and looks to find a way out. After waiting for a while, Elle hears screams and discovers one has killed everyone in the facility. This all happened prior to his transformation into Vecna, but everyone died as their bones snapped and eyes sucked inwards, further confirming this is how he's chosen to kill his targets. Seeing that Elle defeated him, and he's now targeting Hawkins, he could be out for revenge, and not to mention the more he kills, the more powerful he becomes. His very first victim, his mom, at the end of episode 7, a lot was revealed about his origin and how he came about his powers. He traps his family and started attacking them one by one, starting with his mom. In this scene, we can see his mom slowly levitates and her bones crackled and eyes pops out. A plan's in motion to defeat Vecna. Dustin and Eddie are used as a distraction for Robin, Nancy and Steve to get in without any interruptions. After leading the bats to them, they soon found it difficult to keep them out. The bats are getting closer. Dustin and Eddie makes it to the portal, but Eddie stays back to buy them more time and leads them away from the trailer. Now he's surrounded and fighting them off. Dustin jumps through the portal to save Eddie, but when he arrived, it was too late and Eddie dies.
I didn't run away this time, right?
No. You didn't run.
Knowing Vecna's out for her, Max uses herself as bait to distract him, while Nancy, Steve and Robin kills him. Everything was going according to plan, but they missed the fact that he could read minds, and he captured them all, and Max is trapped in her mind with no escape. Elle shows up and rescues her. One now captures Elle and kills Max like he did his other 3 victims.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
I know.
I don't want to die. I'm not ready.
You're not gonna die, please.
Max's death completed his plan, activating the 4 gates, making Hawkins the Upside Down, and destroying half the town. With the 4 gates becoming one, a lot of people died, and Hawkins not the same. Max is still alive. She did die, but Elle stepped in and saved her, and now she seems to be lost in her mind. This season had some gruesome and unexpected deaths and terrifying scenes. Hawkins has fallen, but not all hope is lost.